Two girls die of a drug overdose, leading to a larger discussion on drug use in Taiwan. China charges a Taiwanese activist with separatism. Taiwan faces a shortage of pediatricians as birth numbers fall. Plus,
I'm in a class in Taipei that's teaching seniors all about AI and yoga balls.
a warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Yin Khvat. A fire at a food factory in central Taiwan has killed at least 7 people. The blaze broke out Tuesday morning at the plant in Changhua County, trapping 22 people inside. All of them were pulled from the fire, but 10 people showed no signs of life when found. Doctors have confirmed the deaths of 7 of those 10 people, while the remaining 3 are in critical condition. A Labour official says the factory has no record of safety violations. Fire officials are looking for the cause of the fire.
他们有在厨房那边先做扑灭的出席灭火的动作，那他们没办法灭火之后，然后打119请求我们支援。
Taiwan police have arrested a man for supplying drugs to 2 underage girls who later overdosed and died. This has renewed interest in curbing drug use in the country, Bing Wang reports.
Police arrest a man suspected of supplying drugs to 2 teenage girls in Taiwan's largest city of New Taipei. The girls died of a drug overdose.
现场我们有初步查获有使用过毒品的迹象，初步是排除有物理性的外力介入迹象。
The 30-year-old suspect met the 2 teenagers on a messaging app, then invited them to a party in a motel. The girls were then found dead in the motel stairway. The suspect has confessed to giving them drugs and is being charged with murder and abandoning the scene. According to the Government Statistics Bureau, drug use in Taiwan has risen in the last 7 years, and consistently around 11% of drug users were minors.
他可能听同学说，这个东西很好，而且呢，这个东西呢，它本身来讲呢，就有比较好的这个让你提神的作用，他可能就会去用。从这个自愿自发的一开始，渐渐走上了不得不。
Drug busts are becoming more common in Taiwan. Last year, police seized close to 10,000 kilograms of methamphetamines, marijuana, and cocaine, a record for Taiwan. Prior to that, the biggest haul was 6,500 kilograms in 2016. Drug use may still be much lower in Taiwan than neighboring countries, but police here intend to stay vigilant. Hundreds die of overdoses every year, and the government is launching an education campaign in schools, hoping to nip this problem in the bud. Howard Zhang and Bing Wang for TaiwanPlus.
An American hiker has been found dead at a campsite in central Taiwan. The 56-year-old woman, surnamed Ye, was reported missing last week. Ye and a tour guide were separated from their group while hiking the Nengao and Dongjun Trail. Rescuers found the guide's body on Friday. The trail had been hit by bad weather over the weekend, and the 2 were reportedly only carrying sleeping bags and limited supplies. Ye was a professor of Chinese descent working in Taiwan. She had been hiking with her niece and a colleague, both of whom are safe. Guatemalan President Alejandro Giammattei in Taipei on a state visit has given strong backing to Taiwan. As Rick Laut reports, that's good news for the Thai administration as it looks to shore up the country's remaining diplomatic relationships.
Here at the presidential office in the capital Taipei, President Taiwan has rolled out the red carpet for a rare visit from a head of state. Alejandro Giammattei, president of Guatemala, is here to reinforce diplomatic ties as they're put under pressure from Beijing.
Guatemala is one of just 13 countries to officially recognize Taiwan's sovereignty. Giammattei referred to the country in Spanish as the Republic of Taiwan, rather than its official name, the Republic of China.
Hoy he vuelto con la misma empatía que se traduce en un sentido mensaje de solidaridad y compromiso con la soberanía e integridad territorial de la República de Taiwán.
China views Taiwan as one of its own provinces and says it has no right to act like a sovereign state. Any recognition of Taiwan as a country comes with repercussions from China. And as more countries flip to Beijing, Taiwan sees it as an increasingly important partner in the region.
也期待透过这一次的访问，我们两国不仅持续深化邦谊，也能够共同发掘更多的合作机会。
Beijing has slammed Giammattei's visit, urging Guatemala to switch ties to China, a major trading partner. Last month, Central American country Honduras switched recognition from Taipei to Beijing after failing to get $2.5 billion from Taiwan that it asked for in aid. China has been known to offer what's been called dollar diplomacy, large sums of investment and aid in exchange for cutting ties with Taiwan. The Guatemala delegation has said they are not here for free money from Taiwan, but are looking for long-term investments.
Guatemala is now one of just 2 official Taiwanese allies in Central America. The pomp and pageantry here is part of keen diplomatic efforts to maintain that friendship and fend off Beijing's attempts to isolate Taiwan internationally. Rick Yi and Rick Lauert in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
A Taiwanese activist has been charged in China for promoting Taiwanese independence. Yang Ziyuan was detained in eastern China's Zhejiang province last August. In the past, Yang has mixed with groups both promoting Taiwan's unification with China and others advocating for Taiwan's independence. He served as the vice chairman of the independence-leaning Taiwanese Nationalist Party before his detention. TaiwanPlus reporter Sam Hui got to know Yang Ziyuan several years ago when he was active in Taiwan's political scene. Our news editor Ed Moon spoke with Sam to find out more.
Can you tell us a little bit about Yang Ziyuan and how you got to know him?
I knew Yang Ziyuan back in 2014, right after Sunflower Student Movement. I think Yang, he joined both Wild Strawberry Movement and Sunflower Movement when he was a student. And as we know, both movements were pro-independence, pro-independence student movement back in Ma Ying-jeou's eras. And he contacted me through Facebook, and he wants to know more about the modern Chinese history from me.
And can you tell us about his political beliefs?
It's very complicated because most people will think he's pro-Taiwan independent, as Chinese officials call him. They label him independent or separatism too. But it's more complicated than that because, as I knew, he has many friends from pro-unification organization in Taiwan too. And he even went to China with them in 2016. And if you look at deeper into his personal history, he even joined a neo-Nazi organization called National Socialism Association in 2006. Yeah, I think I will say he's more of ethnic nationalism instead of pro-independence or pro-unification. It's very hard to label him.
And why do you think he might have been arrested by the Chinese Communist Party?
I think because he had something, because he, as I said, he has friends from both pro-unification and the pro-independence party, so it's very easy for China to say he's pro-independence.
And what kind of a message do you think Xi Jinping is trying to send to Taiwanese activists with these arrests?
I think he wants the Taiwanese people to, our Taiwanese activists to know that don't get involved into politics if you want to come to China, because I'm the boss, I'm the emperor right now, and I want to control everything. If you are in China to talk about politics, it means you are challenging my power, so I will arrest you. And I think he just wants to keep all the Taiwanese people in China to shut their mouth.
That was TaiwanPlus reporter Sam Hui speaking to news editor Ed Moon. Taiwan's defense ministry is tracking one of China's aircraft carriers that is sailing close to the country. The Shandong was last spotted around 120 nautical miles away from Taiwan's southeast coast. The ship is coming back from military exercises in the Pacific that started in early April. Those were launched in response to Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen meeting with US House Speaker Kevin McCarthy in California. The military says it is monitoring the situation. Taiwan's Pandemic Response Task Force is to close down later this week. The Central Epidemic Command Center, or CECC, was activated in January 2020 in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The centre was responsible for crafting Taiwan's response to the virus for nearly 1,200 days. At one point, it gave daily briefings that made the then Health Minister Chen Shizong one of the most familiar faces in the country, even while he was wearing a mask. The centre says it will give a final press conference on Thursday. Medical NGOs say Taiwan could soon face a shortage of pediatricians as a shrinking number of births means less work. But as Giammattei reports, that's not the only factor driving medical students away from the field.
It's a profession facing decline. Last year, Taiwan's hospitals only filled 83% of their pediatric positions. This year, that's down to 70%. And for the first time ever, pediatric programs at Taiwan's medical schools have empty spots, too. It's a problem linked to the country's low number of births, which last year hit their lowest number in history. But a shrinking number of patients isn't the only thing pushing new doctors to other specialties.
医疗纠纷，然后还有给付制度以及偏乡发展的这个困境，其实是我们观察到比较扼杀妇幼这个大科发展的紧箍咒。
This could soon be a problem for children in need of urgent care.
再过5年到10年，你就很明显发现说，等到比较老的医师退休以后，就整个照顾小孩子的医师人数，在偏乡或者比较小的城市呢，其实人都不足的。
Pediatricians say there are ways to help the problem from getting worse. They want the national health insurance system to budget for enough doctors to care for 200,000 children.
不能在人口下降的过程当中，还是配合着你有做多少，小朋友就给多少费用的这样的思维。
It's hoped that way, no matter how low new births fall, enough doctors will be around to provide Taiwan's youngest people with the medical care they need. James Lin and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is on the verge of becoming a super-aged society. That means soon 20% of the country's people will be older than 65. There is now a push for more support for senior citizens, and one neighborhood chief in Taipei is taking things a step further, hosting a class for his community's older residents on, of all things, AI. Joyce Zheng reports.
These Taiwanese seniors are learning how to use a chatbot. It's a free class offered by a Taipei neighborhood chief for anyone in his community over 60 years old.
我们真的不多多了解一下的话，以后就跟不上时代了。
Classes like these are regularly offered here to teach older community members new skills and help them stay self-sufficient. Even the neighborhood chief himself is sitting in. There are also more physical activities, like this one involving a stress ball.
So what does AI and this exercise ball have in common? Not much, but this class in Taipei are putting them together to exercise the minds and bodies of these elders.
According to the National Development Council, by 2025, Taiwan will be a super-aged society. That means soon 1 in every 5 people will be over 65. Like its East Asian neighbors, Japan and South Korea, birth rates here are critically low, and life expectancy is only getting higher. With the ratio of dependents to the working population also on the rise, Taiwanese officials want to provide more resources for the country's seniors. And for this community in Taipei, Chatbot 101 is just the first step.
大家好比可以想象成他现在就是一个8、9岁的孩子。
To make the tech less daunting, the volunteer teacher says he humanizes the process, telling students to chat with the bot as they would a friend, but in simple language that even a child would understand. And as answers loaded, the teacher told the seniors to give the bot a moment to think. He's found it an effective strategy.
ChatGPT 有你想象的难吗？
不会，很简单。你问他什么，他都可以跟你回答。我觉得非常方便。
For these seniors, learning how to talk to a chatbot is a way to help them stay in the know. And classes like these also help seniors keep their fitness and spirits up, encouraging them to learn more about the changing world together. Andy Xue and Joyce Zhen for TaiwanPlus.
Coming up, a look back at this year's Taiwan Week Theatre Festival on what went well and what to expect for the next event. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to Taiwan Talks. I'm Yin Khvat.
This very aggressive form of cultural revolution-like politics in China seems to be moving forward in this modern era.
This grave injustice is happening.
I think Xi Jinping will not give up his ambition.
We need that kind of mindset to prepare for the warfare.
What implications does this have on Taiwan and the region as a whole?
Just like Ukraine right now, you need people to understand we're doing this for our own country.
Reaffirmed our support for the Taiwanese ability to make their own decisions about their own future.
It's very hard to duplicate in the short time. Taiwan still can continue being the leading position if we put efforts on R&D.
And you are riding on a wave. This is exactly the time you need to double down.
I did not realize I am actually running to be the first Asian woman in the state senate. Our next generation, they can see Asian American is as equal and have the same platform.
Taiwan Talks provides a platform for the voices and perspectives that are shaping our country.
Taiwan Talks, Monday to Thursday, 9 p.m. on TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching Taiwan Plus. For more stories from here in Taiwan and around the world, download the Taiwan Plus app.
Welcome back. You're watching Taiwan Plus News. China's foreign ministry has responded to Australia's recently published defence strategy. It says that Australia should not use China as an excuse to build up its military.
我想强调的是，中国始终奉行防御性的国防政策。我们致力于维护亚太和世界的和平稳定，不对任何国家构成威胁。我们希望一些国家扩张军力，不要拿中国做借口。 不要炒作毫无根据的中国威胁论。
Australia's defence review is considered the country's biggest military shake-up since World War II. The country says its goal is to counter more aggressive actions by China. The new approach would include strengthening its long-range strike capabilities. For more on the significance of Australia's new defence strategy, our reporter Jaime Ocon spoke to Matthew Sussex, a security analyst at the Griffith Asia Institute based in Sydney.
What are the biggest takeaways from this new Australia Defence Review?
Well, I mean, it's been pitched as the biggest sea change in Australian defence policy since, about 80 years ago. And to an extent that is true, given that it, for the first time, it adopts a sort of anti-area access denial approach that previously Australian defence policy hasn't done. And it also pivots the role of the army from being the organisation that will be sort of the tip of the spear in any conflict to one that plays, I think, much more a support role. This is much more of a maritime type of document. And that makes sense in that, there are plenty of ways to hurt Australia.
There's no mention of Taiwan, but it does highlight a growing aggression from China. Is Australia kind of looking towards what could happen in a potential conflict between Taiwan and China and adjusting its own defense strategy?
There's certainly plenty of discussion about Taiwan contingencies as having shaped the thinking around scenario building and that kind of thing with the promulgation of this document. I think it doesn't mention Taiwan for a very good reason, and that's because Australian defence pronouncements have, over the past few years, for whether this is right or wrong, they've been criticised for talking very loudly and carrying a small stick. I think this is a deliberate attempt to be a little bit more Delphic in the way that Australia goes about its defence policy. Now, certainly the way it's pitched is an evolution of the Defence of Australia approach that says, okay, it's going to be much more littoral, it's going to be much more maritime. Where it is silent is the extent to which Australia is going to do force projection into places like Taiwan Strait, places like South China Sea.
In this defense strategy, there are suggestions that Australia should prioritize long-range strike capabilities. What do you think about that?
I think in terms of Australia's own capabilities, it will continue to prioritise long-range missiles and the ability to, well, just the understanding that contemporary conflicts are going to be fought at range. And Australia is going to have the capability to provide some degree of denial in that type of scenario and have those types of capabilities itself. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the United States is going to be the solution or the panacea to all of Australia's strategic problems.
That was Matthew Sussex, a security analyst at the Griffith Asia Institute based in Sydney. A former Trump administration official and outspoken China critic is set to visit Taiwan. John Bolton was National Security Advisor to former President Donald Trump. He will travel to Taiwan at the end of April and is scheduled to speak at 2 pro-Taiwan independence events. Bolton has long argued for US recognition of Taiwan and was a key architect of Trump's China policy. He later said that Trump downplayed the importance of Taiwan during his time in office. Netflix has announced it will invest $2.5 billion in South Korea over the next 4 years. The US streaming giant plans to produce more K-dramas, movies and reality TV shows. Netflix made the announcement following a meeting of the company's co-CEO and South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol. The country's entertainment industry has boomed in recent years. South Korean show Squid Game, released in 2021, is still Netflix's most-watched series of all time. Many people in Taiwan will take academic or professional exams in the weeks ahead. That makes it a busy time of year for one of the country's temples. Charlie Starrer explains.
May is a testing time for people in Taiwan. It's the start of exam season, and candidates of all ages, from school and university students to people looking to get on in a profession, will often seek some divine assistance. The Taiwan Fu City God Temple is a national monument in the southern city of Tainan, once Taiwan's capital. It's organised like the imperial bureaucracy of the past. Below the city god himself are 24 secretaries, subordinate deities with their own areas of responsibility. Among them, there are 2 who get special attention at this time of year. The exam master assesses the performance of officials, so anyone taking any kind of civil service exam should appeal to him. Candidates for jobs that have to do with education turn to the academic affairs master for help. Different professions, different deities, as you may have gathered. People who want to be a doctor may pray to Shandong. He's the deity of agriculture and also the king of medicine. People wanting to be a lawyer may appeal directly to the city god himself. Administration and justice are his purview. Would-be architects and engineers should apply to Master Lu Ban. He was a real person in ancient China and invented several carpentry tools. And for military and police careers, it's Guan Yu, a legendary Chinese general. So, whatever test you're facing, there's always a higher power on hand to help you make the grade. Klein Wang and Charlie Storer for TaiwanPlus.
The Taiwan Week Theatre Festival has wrapped up for another year. The biennial event presented 19 plays from all over Taiwan. Yvonne Yang looks back at the shows.
And that's it for Taiwan Week 2023, the theater festival that showcased a full week of Taiwanese theater productions at the country's most prestigious performance venue wraps up for another year. The National Theater and Concert Hall invited 44 curators from all over the world to attend. The event also included 19 plays from artists around Taiwan, displaying the diversity of the country's culture.
那台湾的文化很独特，它有很多种不同的族群所组成，然后它整个在历史的发展中也受到很多不同文化的影响，所以它长出来的所谓的 identity 其实不是一种唯一的 identity， 而是非常多样性的。
The diversity which is being shown this time, I was really touched by it because the artists had, their freedom to make the creation.
Taiwan Week's organizers chose the 19 plays to showcase the freedom and inclusiveness of Taiwan. The topics of those plays include everything from the environment to gender equality to self-identity.
有很多跟亚洲其他国家很多的共同的议题，那就是所谓的文化身份认同的探讨。
For international curators, Taiwan Week not only displayed Taiwan's performance art, but also provided a platform for them to exchange ideas.
So many guests from Europe and Asia, and you don't have the opportunity also every day to be for such a long time with so many interesting people from all around the world, so it was amazing.
Several plays in particular grabbed the international curators' attention.
我其实观察到的是，你越是从这个土地长出来的东西，他们越在别的地方看不到的，他们越会对这些作品印象深刻。
So, with this year's Taiwan Week wrapped up, what can people expect for the next one?
我觉得是 Taiwan Week 这次很重要的一个使命，就是让 Taiwan Week 成为亚洲很重要的一个全世界策展人的在亚洲的交流点跟平台。
Taiwan Week may be over, but the spirit of art and talent in Taiwan is set to keep on going. Ethan Chen, Klein Wang, and Yvonne Yang for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching Taiwan Plus News. Remember to download the Taiwan Plus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we leave you with images of a drone show at the Colosseum in Rome. I'm Yin Khvat. Take care. See you next time.